Hey guys, how you doing? It's your boy Spyro 2355 here. I'm gonna record my next episode of Spyro the Dragon right after I get done with this. But this issue was a bit too big for me to ignore, and being a big Spyro fan and a good friend of the people that this has seemed to be affecting, so I wanted to kind of just step forward on their behalf and on the behalf of the community, and just put my opinions out there as to what I think is best. So today we're going to be talking about the big purple dragon himself, Mr. Spyro, of course. The image right here is the cover art that I spent a while trying to crop down, and I had to use my photo editor to do it. And I'm inserting this live instead of doing it through my video editor because obviously it's still on the fritz, it don't work. But we're going to be talking about something that was a big controversy among the community, and it was blown way out of proportion what it should have been. I made a new Twitter account just so I could be followed up on this thing, just so I could kind of just try to get some facts and things and do the best I can to try to get to the bottom of this, so that way I could come to you guys as much as it's just unbiased and strictly as factual as I can be. Now, because another reason I can do that, I think, is because this doesn't affect me personally. I pre-ordered this thing digitally, so none of this affects me personally. But as far as I'm good friends with Jordan Fringe and Canadian Guy, they're we're pretty decently close. I go to Jordan's streams a lot. I go to Canadian Guy and talk to him on Discord sometimes. I talk to Jordan on Discord sometimes. And I don't think they deserve all the hate that they're being given about this. And I wanted to come out and say something about it because they had to eventually stream something, and stream it together and come forward together just to get it to momentarily stop. And I don't think any YouTuber should have to do this. But I'm throwing in my 2 cents and saying, hey, you guys, Spyro 2 and 3 being download only. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. And then right after that, I'm going to be posting up the video for episode 3 of my Spyro the Dragon Let's Play. As far as 2 and 3 being digital, like that's going to affect me in any way. While I do love this cover art, I think it's fantastic. I decided to go ahead and get the digital pre-order because I like the pre-order bonuses for the digital better. I just do. That's just the reason I got it digitally. And plus, at the time that I pre-ordered it, it was pretty much day of it was put up. Pretty much the day of that it was put up. For pre-order available. I don't think that at that time that they had any pre-order bonuses for the physical release anyway. So I just went ahead and just pre-ordered it digitally because I was pumped about it, man. I was like, yes, this is so cool. So I went ahead and pre-ordered it digitally. And so this whole download thing doesn't affect me in any way. I'm just giving that as a disclaimer up front. Okay, I'm strictly here as a non-biased person who buys both physical and digital games. I do both. I will be honest with you, 100% frank with you here. I buy both digital and physical games. Both of them are the same to me. As long as I get the game, I don't care. If it's cheaper to get physical, I'll get physical. If it's cheaper to get digital, I'll get digital. Because, see, I'm not exactly a rich man. I live on Social Security. I'm not exactly the guy that, makes the mega bucks and can just spend. Even though I did pre-order a $90 game, I only get to do that every once in a while. And so for me, this doesn't really affect me at all. I saw it $40 digitally. I was like, $40 is a good price, especially for today's age. For 3 great remastered PS1 games. These are more like reimaginings because they've been done from the ground up. That's what most people don't get. when it comes to this physical versus digital crap. That's what most people don't get, is the reason why we're going to get into that issue at hand here. As a segue, we're going to get into this here. Spyro the Dragon 1 is going to be coming on the disc itself. Spyro the Dragon 2 and 3, Spyro Ripto's Rage and Year of the Dragon, or Gateway to Glimmer for those of you born overseas, are going to be download only. Now, like I said, for me personally, this doesn't affect me because I pre-ordered it digitally anyway, so I'm going to be getting all the games via digital anyway. But for those of you guys who are hoping for all 3 games on one disc like they did with Crash Bandicoot, I'm here to tell you that there's no way for them to do that with Spyro, because Spyro is a way bigger game, and I mean, even just the first one, especially with all that they've had to do, because for Crash Bandicoot, from what I understand, they had all the code for Crash Bandicoot, so they could go and, just basically cut paste things. They didn't have to do all the stuff that Toys for Bob have to do when it comes to reimagining these games right here. These games are basically running the base game, from the PS1, then Spyroscope on top of that, which is a tool that they use to track movements and stuff. Then on top of that, they're having to run their game that they remastered and redid. So this is, going to increase the size of the game tremendously. Because you also got to think about the physical restriction of a Blu-ray disc. A dual-layer Blu-ray disc can only hold 50 gigabytes. And while that might be possible for games like, say, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition or Ratchet and Clank, while it might be possible to fit the whole game on one disc for those instances, they're not having to run everything that Spyro is having to run just to be able to bring you guys the games. And as far as I'm concerned, Jordan Fringe and Canadian Guy are getting way more backlash from this than they should, because they're not PR guys for Activision. They're not. They have some people at Activision that they have as contacts, sure. But, I've talked to Jordan. He doesn't have that kind of pull at Activision. He's just, a guy who happens to be friends with a couple of the dudes at the company. He doesn't have that kind of pull. And as far as I know, Canadian Guy is the same way. He doesn't have that kind of pull. I don't have that kind of pull. No, nobody in the Spyro community has that kind of pull where they could just say, well, you need to put them all on one disc. Nobody has that kind of pull. So them getting a whole bunch of hate comments from you guys and saying, hey, this is, what you should do, and why don't you, talk to Activision, and you guys are very uneducated about that. As my grandmother says, you're very uneducated. You need to read up and do some fact research before you start blasting people, because that just upsets the wrong people. And if this thing grows any further than it has, it could put the whole project in danger. Activision could just say, you know what, this project is too big of a hassle, shut it down. And if they did that, they'd probably refund everybody's money, sure, but we'd be out probably future Spyro games as well. We wouldn't get any future Spyro games probably out of this. So you guys need to be careful about what you say on the internet. That's why I'm kind of trying to be Mr. Positive about this. I'm just saying, I'm trying not to be Mr. Negative Hater. Heck, I even have Spyro the Dragon as my background on my desktop. I'm a huge Spyro fan, and to see what you guys are doing is just stomach cringing to me, because it makes it where it's hard for people like me who are just a big Spyro fan who just want the game be able to get the game. Because like I said, if this turns out to be a huge public debacle, Activision may turn around and cancel the project because they think it's too big of a hassle. And I don't want all that work that Toys for Bob has put into it to go to waste because of a big stink like this. Like I said, I buy both physical and digital. Do I prefer physical or digital? What do I prefer in that case? Well, It really depends on the game. It depends on the game. If I know it's going to be a lot of data and stuff like that, I'll go ahead and get the physical copy. If I know it's going to be big for me to download on my PlayStation, I'll go ahead and get the for the physical copy, so that way I don't have to sit there and wait forever for it to download. I'll just have to wait for the download patch. But as far as like preferring physical or digital, again, that depends on the game. It really does. It comes down to what's cheaper and what takes up the least amount of space on my PlayStation. Because I got a 500 gigabyte model. I don't have one of those big, gigantic, fancy 1 terabyte ones. I have a 500 gig. That's all I could afford. And the only reason why I could get this one is because it was only $92 with Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy included in the package. That was the only reason why I was able to get the one I have. Plain and simple. And that's why it bothers me so much when I see people that just, go to all that trouble to make a big stink about stuff like this. Because, like, you're still getting the games that you want. Why should it matter whether it's physical or digital? And as far as you guys hating on Canadian Guy and Jordan Fringe and Miharu and a couple of other people, don't do that. They don't have any pull or any say over at Activision. And you guys hating on them like that is just causing a big stink and a bunch of crap that does not need to be had, because a lot of times it just gets to them and makes them just standoffish. And I don't blame them. I'd be the same way if you guys started slandering me in my comment section. I'd be the same way. You guys have to be careful about what you say to people on the internet, because while they may be behind a computer screen and they may seem like cool people, that doesn't mean you should push them, because everybody has limits. Everybody has buttons that people don't need to push, or that people shouldn't push. I and Canadian Guy just had a kid. He's probably already got enough stress as it is. He does not need all this extra stress. And Jordan Fringe in his last video, when he did the mail time video, he even said he was going on very little sleep. And you don't know that about those things about those people unless they come forward and tell you. Like, I think that you guys should give them a break, and you shouldn't be jumping all over them just for a simple decision that was made by a company that was out of their hands. If you have general, concerns about their channel and you want to give them some constructive criticism, that's different. That is completely different than what I'm talking about right here. I'm talking about when you guys slander them and just start laying into them. It's not fair to them, and it's not fair to everybody else in the community. So I'm here on behalf of them to just say, hey, you guys need to cool it. Because I'm telling you, if you guys keep this up, it's just going to end up being bad on their end. And bad for y'all. Because if this causes a big enough public stank, Activision's just going to cancel the project. Even though it's probably green by this point. Because, it's only like 6 weeks away from the release of the game. So, maybe even less than that. I don't know the exact date right now off the top of my head. So, you guys just need to give them a break. And give them some time. And just, watch their content. Love their content. Love Spyro just for what he is. And I got another message for everybody else out there who's hating on other people in the community for liking one Spyro versus the other. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because look, I'm a fan of all 3 games. Like I said in my first episode of my Let's Play, that was not bullcrap. I do love all the games. I love every Spyro game you could throw at me. I'm a huge Spyro fan. I even owned Dawn of the Dragon at one point, but I had to get rid of it because of money constraints. I'm going to get it again, though, because I plan on doing a Let's Play of the Legend series after I get done with the Classic series. I plan on doing a Let's Play of the Legends series, and as well as Into the Dragonfly and A Hero's Tale, because I have them all. I plan on doing a series on it, like a ongoing series until I get all the way to the end of Skylanders. I plan on going all the way to the end. So, I'm a huge Spyro fan through and through. I like every incarnation of Spyro. I do. And, I'm a Spyro super fan. I am probably one of the biggest ones you'll ever meet. However, it bothers even me when I see people in the community hating on other people just because they like a specific incarnation of Spyro, because those people that like that incarnation of Spyro, that might have been the ones that they grew up on. I happen to grow up on the classics, but that doesn't mean that I just like the classics and nothing else. It just simply means that that was what I grew up on. And it's not right for you guys to hate on people who like the classics or people who like the Legend games or people who like Skylanders because they like that version of Spyro better. I don't have a favorite incarnation of Spyro. I thought the storyline was great in the Legend series. All three games across the board. I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. I liked the Skylanders storyline so far from what I've played all the way up through Swap Force. I like all that stuff. But I don't like it when people hate on each other just because they like a version of Spyro that nobody else does. Because for all you know, that could be a 10-year-old kid that you're hating on. Or even worse than that, it could be somebody like me who just wants peace among the community. And I like all three incarnations of Spyro, and I think that we should all just love Spyro for who Spyro is. No matter what incarnation you like. That's just one guy's opinion. I may be wrong, because I usually am when it comes to this kind of thing. I typically tend to be wrong about everything. So, I just want to say, you guys, stop hating on other people in the Spyro community for liking a specific Spyro incarnation. Stop hating on Jordan French. Stop hating on people on YouTube because of a decision that's made by a company. There's nothing that you could do about it. And there's nothing that they can do about it either. And all it causes is just a bunch of crap and a bunch of hate. And it's not right for you guys to do what you guys do about it. I mean, if you're going to get angry and stuff, that's fine. But do it on your own time and don't aim it towards a YouTuber. Because they can't, usually 90% of the time, YouTubers can't do anything about it. You guys should just be mindful of that stuff when you're going to, talk to them about it. All it does is just cause a bunch of hate. So, peace, love, and understanding is the first thing you guys need to show towards each other. You don't need to be all hateful and everything towards other people. So that's not going to do anything but draw out a bunch of hate out of other people. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm rambling at this point, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it here, guys. Much love to all you guys. Be looking out for that third episode of Spyro. It's going to be coming out tonight, and I better go ahead and get on it if I'm going to record it and upload it before I go on the air tonight. So you guys have a great evening or a great day wherever you're watching this from all over the world, and I will see all you guys very soon. Much love. See you guys.